You know, there's several things in life that just don't agree with my palate. And one of them is liver, the other is beets. Beets are bad, just like the conference championship weekend for me.
Well, you know what? Beets, the food, are actually pretty good, pretty good. But I will agree with you. We had some bad beats this weekend. 2 games, 3 points. That half point will kill you. We'll talk about it on the other side.
It does every time. It's the sure shot, and we're coming at you now. And what's the deal, boys and girls? I'm Mark Gray. That's Chad Morton. Welcome to the Sure Shot, the spot that keeps you in the know when you are participating in those games of chance for entertainment purposes only. We at least were entertained last week, huh?
Without question. 2 games, much closer than we thought. Can the NFL keep it going? We asked that last week. Apparently they can.
You just wonder, is there some kind of Cecil B. DeMille, Oliver Stone, John Singleton type thing going on around here these days? Because this can't be reality TV. It has to be scripted. I mean, we've had, 6 straight games that were decided by 3 points or less with last-second drives or wins in overtime, with championships on the line. Mm-hmm. The NFL rules, it's the league's universe.
Well,
there's snowflakes in it.
It's like what you said, man. Like Bengals Chiefs going to overtime. Rams 49ers coming down to the last seconds. Big plays made by superstars. That's what the NFL is right now. And speaking of superstars, let's get on your man, Joe Burrow.
Well, let's be real for a second. It wasn't like Joe Burrow wasn't a superstar already. We're just beginning to really appreciate it. Consider, he transferred from Ohio State. Good job, Urban Meyer, starting Dwayne Haskins ahead of him. So he leaves. Burrow has to play himself into a respectful position because there is a condescension amongst SEC fans towards Big Ten football players. What does he do? He goes down to SEC country, goes undefeated.
Wins the national championship.
And more importantly, he wins the SEC. So he comes to the NFL, has a remarkable start to his professional career, tears his knee up, goes through COVID, rehab, comes back, leads his team down the stretch to the Super Bowl. With all due respect to Patrick Mahomes and the rest of this new Jack era of quarterback, the Josh Allens, the Justin Herberts, and even you, Lamar Jackson, bow down. It's Joe Burrow's world. We just living in it.
Well, I wouldn't go that far yet because Joe Burrow's got to bring it all the way home, just as Patrick Mahomes did. You got to get that Super Bowl ring before you could talk that talk. But he is walking the walk with that death row starter kit he had on, the black turtleneck, and the big gold chain. I thought Suge Knight just got out. I didn't know it was Joe Burrow, but he's got the style, he's got the pizzazz, and as you said off camera, he's got the it factor. Kid's a winner.
Well, he can't be Suge Knight. He'd be like
Suge Knight.
Eminomo.
Suge Knight maybe if he lost a couple hundred. But hey, check this out. What do you think about the Rams 49ers? Rams haven't lost to them, 5 times in a row? Finally get over that hump and take the 49ers down.
Sometimes you got to know when you need somebody to have your back. Al Capone had Frank Nitti. And let's just say if Sean McVay is Al Capone, then his quarterback, Matt Stafford from Detroit, is now officially Frank Nitti. Look, Stafford made plays, as I said last week, that he was going to have to make down the stretch that Jimmy Garoppolo couldn't. There were some brilliant passes, and then you get 18 receptions for almost 400 yards between Odell Beckham Jr. and Cooper Kupp. What an unbelievable performance. And with all they did offensively, it was your guy, Aaron Donald.
AD.
Who came through in the clutch.
HTP, baby. Those who know. AD was the most dominant player on the field that game, rallied the defense when they needed to be rallied, and made the big play, forced the interception. What more can you say? Now he's got to top it off, though, with a Super Bowl. AD's 30 years old. This is their second time. They got to come home with it.
And they're playing in their home stadium, and we got plenty of time to break that thing down scientifically as only we can next week. But the bottom line is, I think we've seen a bit of a changing of the guard, and Tom Brady's no longer around. It's official. Official. Yeah. That he's
from the horse's mouth.
Well, yeah, it is in this predicament, because I was going to make a disparaging remark about what part of the horse's anatomy if the reporters had been wrong, but apparently they were right. Still, the big story is arguably the GOAT has retired.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the best quarterback in the league right now? Not, is it Aaron Rodgers? Is it Joe Burrow?
I'm going to tell you, I'd still go with Patrick Mahomes, and I'll tell you why. He's got that Super Bowl ring. Now, Joe Burrow, again, there's a lot of players that made it to the championship one time and left with an L.
You're right.
And so let's see what he does. Let's see what he does. But speaking of Jared Goff, before we get to Corey, you want to talk about somebody who might be pissed. It's Jared Goff. He's watching this team. Is like, y'all got me in Detroit? That's almost criminal. He should file some charges on that trade.
You talk about Joe Burrow having to cross the goal line with the Super Bowl victory. I mean, what about Matt Stafford, especially when you consider, in all fairness to Goff, he got them to the same place that Stafford did 4 years ago.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. He's got the right to be
salty.
Very upset.
Yes.
But so what's the bigger storyline? Is it Joe Burrow and the Bengals, or is it Matthew Stafford and the Rams? And if I had to pick one, I'm going to go with Stafford. Going from like one of the worst franchises in the league to a franchise that added him as the last piece to get over that Super Bowl hump, and now you got him there. Can he close the deal?
I'm going to say that the biggest story is Joe Burrow, because, as I pointed out, 4 years ago, Rams were in the Super Bowl and were one play away from perhaps winning it. A missed throw by Jared Goff. I look at Joe Burrow, where 3 years ago, Cincinnati finishes 2-14.
Yeah.
And now they're in the Super Bowl. There is no doubt. They built the team to surround Joe Burrow. And when you get receivers like Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, the big tight end, they are built, they solidified the offensive line. Cincinnati is poised, and I think they've got like 6 first or second day draft picks this year.
Oh, my God.
Already in the can. So let's be real for a second. Cincinnati appears to be in the same position that Kansas City was
in, right,
before Mahomes got the big contract. Kansas City's window's closing because each year the salary cap hit from Burrow's contract, from Mahomes' contract is going to continue to affect them from a cap perspective. Cincinnati has cap friendliness. So I would say right now, window closing in KC, it's still wide open in Cincinnati, and they playing for a chip, dog. Anyway, speaking of somebody who knows about winning a chip, it's our Sultan of the Sports Book, Corey Parson, going to drop some knowledge on you next. All right, he is our Sultan of the Sports Book. He is Corey Parson from NBC Sports Edge. And we know one thing's for certain, two things is for sure. Even when we have our worst beats, Corey finishes on top. We know you did all right this week, right?
Well, listen, the Kansas City Chiefs let me down. I went in there, and the thought was to parlay the 2 favorites with the Chiefs and the Rams. So Chiefs let me down. So before kickoff, I had to go all in, Mark. I had to push all the chips to the middle of the table on the Rams money line. Thankfully, it came through because I did not want to make another deposit into said sportsbook account. So we get to keep playing with their money. So I feel pretty good about that.
You blew it!
Hey, man, when you're playing with house money, it's always good. But when you got to dip back into your own pocket, bad sign right there.
Never a good look.
Yeah, we talked about our bad beats. What really hurt us was that half point with the Rams. I picked the Rams. I think Mark picked the Rams as well. And 3-point win doesn't cover it. 3.5 doesn't even give us a push. We took that L.
Yeah, no doubt. That's one of the things that I always say. When I'm betting on that favorite, I'm getting off that hook. I'm coming down. I might pay extra 10 cents in juice, but I'm going to get it at 3 just to ensure myself to push. If I'm betting on that dog, I'm never going to bet the 3. I'm going to pay that extra juice, get it up to the hook, and buy that half a point. So that's just one of the things that you go through with in this realm. Something's happened to me sometimes too. But that hook hung out there all week. And when I saw that hook out there all week, I was like, this hook is dangerous. Let me stay away from this. And that's why I was on the money line.
And talk about that for a second. We do have a group of novices that are new to the gaming world. What is that hook feature all about?
So that half a point is where you get the win or the win or the loss. And if you're on the favorite and you're laying that 3.5, that field goal will at least give you the push. You know what I'm saying? At least give you the push. You walk away and you're even. You don't take the loss. When you leave that hook sitting out there, you win that game by that field goal. That's still going to register as a loss, as it did for a lot of a lot of Rams bettors this week. So yeah, just a little, a trick of the trade is you might go from paying minus $1.10 to minus $1.20, but you're going to feel much better about the win than you will the loss.
Now, let me ask you this, Corey. How deep do you get into all the prop bets, particularly now as we get up to the Super Bowl? How deep do you get into it? Are there any that stand out for you for this particular Super Bowl game over the others?
But what I'll say right here is this. You definitely don't want to go too crazy with the prop bets. You know what I mean? Because this is the last game. This is the biggest betting day of the year. So, you don't want to get carried away leisurely betting on anything. You kind of want to know what you're getting into. You kind of want to do some research on these prop bets. Stuff like the color of the Gatorade and stuff like that, I don't get into. I'll get to more of the player props. Also, you have a lot of cross-sport props for the Super Bowl. For example, I know that's one that I'm working on right now. The Boston Celtics play on Super Bowl Sunday. So I'm looking at the Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown combined points. Will it be higher than the combined points between the Bengals and the Rams? Brown and Tatum average 50 points a game together, whereas the Super Bowl total is sitting at 49. So that'll be a nice little sweat right there. But really what I'll do, and I'll definitely do this for you guys next week on the Short Shot, what I plan to do this week is I want to talk with some odds makers and see what their most popular prop bets are. And if you kind of know where the market is going, you want to back them because you can lose juice very quickly this upcoming week. So definitely going to try to be on top of that and report back next week with the best props for Super Bowl Sunday.
And as we set up our game plan, because we all know that the protocols are to get your game plan in place before you get to Super Bowl week so you can handle all the amenities and distractions that go with that game. From a bettor's perspective, looking at this to be what? No more than probably a 5-point spread, if that. Would you be more inclined, or is the safer strategy to bet early or to wait to the very last minute?
I would wait to the last minute. I think, listen, it really depends on what side you're going to be on. But in the COVID era, I think you want to wait to the last minute because you want to make sure that, both sides are completely healthy and whatever may have you. So, for example, right now, if you're on the the Bengals, I can't even believe it myself. If you're on the Bengals, you may not get better than the 4.5 that's laying out there right now. So you may want to go ahead and place that wager now. If you're on the Rams, you may want to wait in case this number starts to slide up to that 5 or potentially starts to slide that other way. So you're paying even a better number. My guess is everybody is more than likely going to be on the Bengals catching that 4.5. That's a real good number. I see it closing at 4. It'll put you in line for that push. If it closes at 4, I have a strong feeling the game will probably end on 4.
That's just it's unbelievable how this whole playoff thing has been scripted all season or appears to be following a script that was written, this year's NFL screenplay written by the fortunes of football.
Mark, just look at it. Check this out. 5 of the last 6 games, NFL games, have ended in a walk-off. Like, that's how closely contested these games have been. Like I said last week, I'll say it again this week, the demise of the NFL was greatly over-exaggerated.
Yeah, and 3 into overtime. I think it was 3. All into overtime, including the Chiefs and the Bengals. Incredible.
Let me ask you, before we let you go, who's the man at quarterback in the league right now? To me, Joe Burrow came in, kicked down the door, and took it away from Patrick Mahomes. In my opinion, no matter what happens in the Super Bowl, I think he has just usurped Mahomes as that dude. What about you?
And listen, this is a guy we didn't know 2.5 years ago. I think Patrick Mahomes had a down year. We're hearing some talk now. There could have been some injury speculations going on. We saw Patrick Mahomes. We discussed it earlier in the year. The behind-the-back passes and the this and the that. You know what I'm saying? At some point, it gets to be a little bit too much. Joe Burrow, listen to this. It's only been 2.5 years. We didn't know who this kid was until 2019. He's won the SEC, won the national championship, first pick in the draft, tore his ACL, and then came back, won the AFC North, and took the Bengals to the Super Bowl in like 16 months. This is unheard of. Joe Cool is definitely the man right now. I still like Patrick Mahomes as the best overall quarterback in the league, but it'll be interesting to see what happens when Deshaun Watson gets back. You know what I'm saying? Lamar Jackson may get some more talent around him. So still the jury is out there. But if you are a Bengal fan, you have to be ecstatic that Joe Burrow is on your team. But he is not the best player in this game.
I'm not saying the best player. I'm saying the best quarterback.
I still go with Mahomes because Mahomes has that Super Bowl ring.
But if Mahomes, if Joe Burrow, I should say, wins the Super Bowl,
we got
then
another
what?
conversation. We got another conversation. He's a Super Bowl champion.
Let's not forget Cooper Kupp. He should win the NFL's Offensive Player of the Year. He has been dynamic for the Rams offense this year. I should him to keep it going Super Bowl Sunday. You just look at the game against the Buccaneers. Everybody knew who the ball was going to, yet and still 65 receiving yards on that last drive.
But it also helps when you got another receiver on the opposite side that's going for 100 yards himself with over 9 catches in that big game. Not to take anything away from Cooper Kupp, but we've forgotten just how damn good Odell Beckham Jr. is. And I think he showed America once again that there's some trouble with the Giants, and it has a lot more to do than just with coaching.
Well, we definitely can see that their new coach, Brian Dable, he knows how to drive his truck up into the facilities in Park. That probably was the worst hype video I've ever seen. The Giants do not need a first-time head coach. The Giants need an experienced head coach to come in there, a Jim Caldwell, a Harbaugh. They need somebody like that to come in there and really fix the culture there. As long as they keep hiring first-time head coaches, they'll be hiring another one 2 years from now.
Ain't that the truth?
That's our Sultan of the Sportsbook, Corey Parson. Remember, you can check him out at NBC Sports Edge. And despite the fact that there is no meaningful tackle football this weekend, Corey, who you like, AFC or NFC in the Pro Bowl?
Give me the NFC.
Just because.
Just because, right? Yeah. Anyway, we'll catch you counting down to the Super Bowl next week. Every year with the Super Bowl, boys and girls, it's about a couple of things. A, the commercials, and B, the prop bets. And there's several prop bets this year that I haven't seen been mentioned that I would like to have. So if you will do the honor of me, sir, indulge me.
Okay.
With a couple
of... You throw out the prop bet and I'm going to give you the answer.
Exactly.
Okay.
And let's start with the over-under on the number of times the dump button will be used during the hip-hop halftime celebration. For perspective, it features Snoop, Dr. Dre,
Kendrick Lamar.
Eminem, Kendrick Lamar, Mary J. Blige.
The Queen. Shout out to Mary.
How many times do they have to go silent for a minute because of a potential F-bomb. Oh, no, I'm going to take the over.
You taking the over?
No, I'm
saying one.
We'll set the line at 3.5.
Oh, then it's definitely under.
Okay, you're taking it under?
I'm going under.
I think I'm going to go over. I mean, come on. The guys who have used, curse words as lyrics to become millionaires, it's a can't-miss moment.
Now. They're all middle-aged now.
I know, and their cuss game is probably on point. You know how it is. Gramps was the man when he get to be about 75 or 80 with the F-bomb.
Going way under. The queen is out there. Mary's going to keep him in check.
Keep him in check. She's probably been coaching him up. There's a reason that she made him mint as ghetto fabulous, remember?
He's disrespected the queen, y'all.
No, I'm not. I'm loving her for it, man. Big trunk jewelry, extensions in her hair, all that. Anyway, all right, how long will it take for the national anthem? I'm vacillating as I set this line between 3.5 and 4 minutes.
3.5 to 4, you got to give me a number.
I'm going to say 4 minutes.
4 minutes under.
Really? So
Under.
You like that 3.5?
3.5 would be close, but 4 minutes, I'm going to go under.
I think we're going to be looking at push. I think this is one of those times where the singer knows he's milking the moment. Everybody's going to be there, and probably in LA space, and you're flying next to LAX to get to the stadium, there's going to be a delay.
Well,
The singer's going to have to delay it just a little bit, and then there's the smog. I'm going to take the over.
I got one for you. Now, because we're in LA, City of Stars, how many times will they cut away to a celebrity in the stands, much like they did last week when the Rams played the 49ers? How many times are they going to cut away to Magic or Leo DiCaprio? I got the number at 15.
Wow.
15 cutaways in the Super Bowl.
I'm going to go under. I think maybe it'll be closer to 12.
I'm going to go up. I'm going to go up on that one because we're in L.A.
I know, but I'm thinking the game is going to be so close.
Okay.
I don't think there's going to be enough commercial inventory or space between end of commercial and live action to start. So, grudgingly, I'm going to take the under, but it could be somewhere between 13 and 15.
Okay, now let me get one more. And this is a real one. Heads or tails?
Oh, you got to go with the head.
I got to go with heads as well. You got to go.
Always take the heads to start. Heads. And tails to close.
Always heads. So there you go. You got one real bet in until we get to next week.
Why am I having visions of Deshaun Watson's Instagram right now? I don't think he could make heads or tails of it, and I guess that's why he didn't play this season.
All I know is I hope he comes to Pittsburgh. We can make that happen. Come on, guys.
Anyway, that's going to close the book on this week's edition of the Sure Shot. Remember, all information contained therein is for entertainment purposes only. If you find yourself struggling, to make the decision between betting or paying your mortgage or hitting your kid's college fund, call 1-800-GAMBLER. End it quick, folks. Place your bets, stay under budget, enjoy yourself, and have fun. I can't wait for next week. It's going to be lit in L.A.
Yes, it will be. Suge Knight II returns Joe Burrow.
That's Chad. I'm Mark. Eminem.
No. Suge Knight Jr.
Eminem 2.0. Anyway, that's the Sure Shot. Y'all holler back next week.
Oh, like and subscribe. Don't forget. Like and subscribe at the bottom. We'll see you next week.
We're there for you 24/7, 365.